Keith Newman.
I got you.
You got me.
That is so delightful. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you too. How are you, my new friend?
I am doing well. Where am I finding you today?
I am in New Jersey.
Jersey.
That's the best response I ever get. You get no one
You
ever
know,
goes, "Oh wow, I miss Jersey." Unless you're from here, the best you can hope for is people go, "Oh," like
what exit?
yeah, that's the other thing we get. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I've seen you down at the shore
yeah, yes, you probably have.
at the Stone Pony.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people say their New Jersey childhoods are basically can be summarized by their experiences at the shore. So
There you go.
yeah.
Well, hey, I am super excited to talk with you today. We are live on my podcast to look back, and I do a segment called Chalk Talk, where it's all about helping early stage companies, newly minted entrepreneurs, super founder wannabes,
Yeah.
really help them break through and kind of come to places where they're on the right path.
Love it.
And it's a constantly changing, path and constantly needs tinkering. But your background was particularly attractive to me because one, you're not like a lifer in the tech world, and you're not a lifer in. You have a different approach,
Yeah.
and that makes it exciting for me to talk to somebody with a different perspective.
Yeah. That's great. Yes, I am all about that and
Yeah,
disrupting the conventions, conventional wisdom. Entrepreneurs can get into that place where they fell ass backwards into a business because they had a brilliant idea, right? Or it was a hobby that took off, and now they want to be this founder. And so what do? They look to Nike, Uber, J&J, who knows who, right? Or some
yeah,
unicorn that took off and they say, I'm going to do what they did. And they
yeah,
hold themselves to the standard and they don't realize that there's all kinds of institutionalized nonsense that's happening in those companies. They're not getting it any righter than you are as an
yeah.
entrepreneur and
Right,
chasing some of the things that they've built those companies on. They're all built a little off of center of where they should be. And so
yeah,
don't chase what they're doing.
right.
Trust your gut. And here's how you know where to stay in that zone of doing the 20% that makes sense. So you get 80% of the lift and you avoid all the institutionalized nonsense that they got going on over there. Right.
Right. Well, let's tease it out then a little bit because my audience
Beautiful.
doesn't know you yet.
Yeah.
So, Sean Delaney, you came up with something called the Harmonious Business Architecture, which
Yes.
I just genuinely look at and go, I love it. And I'm a little bit, what the heck? And then, obviously, harmonious is the word that sort of jumps out. And then the idea of connecting that and your bookend is how do we help companies, large or small, like I said, the super founder to the Fortune 500, go further, faster, funner?
Funner.
Because
Yes.
you want to have fun. This is work, but it doesn't have to be with leg shackles, and knocking on granite rocks all day.
If you have connected to yes, let's tease all that out.
Okay.
So we'll start here though. If you're an entrepreneur and you love what you do, you are grounded in your core values, you know exactly who you are, what things you will not deviate from, how you're going to play the game of life. If you
Yes.
know what your core values are and you have a mission that you say, I want it would be fun and energizing to me to deliver value to this particular set of people. I
Yeah.
know I can provide value because that's all business is
Yeah.
just a value exchange between individuals. Once we forget and then we start overcomplicating it, right? So it's just a value exchange weighted in the constituent or customer's favor. You will always have a profitable business. You will always have a business that's going to succeed and grow, right? So as long as you've got that perspective, you know who you are, what your mission is, and you've got a vision for the future.
Yeah.
That's the essence of your navigation, because that's really what strategic planning is, the essence of it, the 20% that matters, not the 200 books you can read on strategic planning. But if you start there and never deviate from that and weave that throughout the rest of your business, you're going to weather any storm. You're going to know exactly who you are, and you're going to be able to build a brand around that trust
Right.
because you've started there. Right. So we start there. And so the harmonious business architecture was me just recognizing that aside from it being a really nice $10 word, It is an acronym that describes these are the 10 fundamental disciplines that I found resonated in any company. So it started 25 years ago. I was working with the Fortune 500, right? MetLife, Nike, Uber, J&J. And I realized that shoes are insurance claims, are widgets, are anything. Because as long
Right.
as we're in that value exchange, that's
Yeah.
really what it is. And the silos and the disciplines that have metastasized around
Mhm.
these disciplines was
Mhm.
just people trying to find a place for them to be comfortable inside those large companies. Right.
Yeah.
And they overcomplicated them to justify their large overhead in their departments. Right. You've
Yeah.
been there. You've seen that in those big companies, right?
Sure.
So we distill it down and say, what are those 10 fundamental disciplines and how do we get to the essence of what they are so we don't overcomplicate it and we know what the playbook is and grow from there. So each of the it's an acronym, harmonious. And so the S is serenity because that's time management, for example. And you don't really manage time any more than somebody on a river manages the river, right? You navigate the raft down the river, but it's always flowing. And so it's just an
Yeah.
allocation of that limited resource time. And so what we're really seeking there with your time management? It's that sense of serenity. I know that I'm doing only those things that must be done by me as the founder, and the rest is either going to get deleted, delayed, or delegated in an order that makes sense so that I can keep my head above water. And so that's just one example of the 10. We can play there if you want, or we can talk about also how we are addressing with Harmonious the four fears or the four buckets of pain, as they're
Oh, I
called.
like that.
Okay,
Let's go into the pain as I head into my weekend, perhaps.
let's go into the pain. Okay, so what we
Face my
found
fears.
from work, what's that?
I had to face my fears.
Yes. So what I found over those 25 years is that all business is the same, regardless then of size, and deciding to not work with the big ones anymore and to work with smaller companies that are looking to become that next unicorn. Say, okay, so if the fundamental disciplines are all there, let's see if there's some other universal things that we're going to be able to solve for these people. And if you take the 100 top struggles that entrepreneurs are facing, and I don't know why you would want to do that. It's a long, boring list, but you will find that 100 could be put into four buckets. And it's another acronym. I sound like I love acronyms. It's not true. These are the only two that I've got. It spells fear. And so the first is the F is financial pressures. So how do I scale faster? How do I get more leads? How do I get more conversions? How do I
Oh
get
yeah,
more profitability out of all this?
that's
And
a
so
big one. Yeah.
it's the big one. It's that constant more throughput, more profitability, more. Okay. That's the first. The next one, the E, is environmental problems. And what do I mean by that? External things. That's another way to use that E. And that is tax liabilities, legal repercussions, and legal liabilities or protections, trademark, copyright. Am I protecting those things? My competition's coming at me. And what are they doing? What is the marketplace doing? Do we have another COVID-19 that's going to destroy my supply chain? And so all the things that are external to us, outside of our control, but leads to more decision fatigue and more sand in
Right.
the engine of our business because it
Right.
never stops hunting us. It makes me feel fight or flight mode constantly because I can't do anything about it. It keeps me up at night. Okay, so that's the E. The next is the allocation of time, like we taught. That's the A I talked about. So that's the A, which is this is where people come to us and say, there's just not enough hours in the day. I can't get it all done. I don't know where to spend my time. Decision fatigue is killing me because I don't know if I should be here or there. I don't know what to deal with next. I don't know what's going to give me the biggest leverage. Everybody I talk to tells me some other place is where I should be, or I don't know how to delegate to my people, right? So then that leads to the next thing, which is recruitment of help, because nobody builds anything great by themselves, no matter what their aspirational dreams are for their business. They're going to need somebody, even if it's just a spouse that's on your side saying, yeah, I believe in you. So how do I recruit the help that I need so I can delegate to somebody? Or is it an external mentor or coach or consultant or a lawyer, tax advisor? I need some kind of help. And so how do we recruit the right people for the right jobs and then delegate to them in a way that and manage them in a way where they are hyper optimized for doing their job. So instead of human resources, we talk about home, which is humans optimized in a meaningful environment, because you're going to spend a lot of time here at work, and I want you fully optimized, and I want your job to mean something to you. I want you to buy into the core values, the mission, and where we're going as a company, so we're all rowing in the same direction. And if I and we're infusing all of those elements through the other disciplines in harmonious. And so I got to get you to buy in there. And if I do that, and I know the kind of role that we have, we're gonna all be able to move mountains for this mission.
Yeah, and it seems like from a execution standpoint or implementation standpoint, you would need the executive team buy-in. You would work closely with a C-level executive to get these
Yes.
things implemented. How do you start like cobbling this together into a workable plan? Because I
Yes.
get it on a strategy level, right? It makes
Yeah.
total sense to put these things in place, but these are big pillars you're talking about.
Yes, absolutely.